What is up, guys? Pie Muffin here, and we are back with some more Trails Through Daybreak. Last time we started the finale chapter, so we're in the final stretch of the game, and we are back in Edith. We took down all of Almata, save of course for Melchior, who fled, and now we are back relaxing in the capital, doing some 4 SPGs for the day. Obviously, here in a couple days is going to be the festival, the Revolution Day, that's what they call it. The Revolution Day Festival that happens once a year, and everything is going to be a bit hectic because of that. So we're going to get started, check out the whole city, and see what's going on. So first, let's head over to the... we're going to do these free times real quick, but I want to go to the board first. My son Curtis has recently started behaving rather violently. I'm concerned he may have made friends with some bad eggs. Okay. There's still a lingering scent. Gotta check the other bulletin boards. So I assume that means that some of these red ones are requests that we have to do. Okay. But before we get on to that, we are of course going to use these 3. So let's start with Ren. Spriggan request addressed to both you and I. Something stinks real bad about this one, but I don't think it's just a prank either. Thoughts? I can handle it myself if you'd like. That's fine, I'll lend you a hand. We've quite a few shared acquaintances after all, it's worth looking into. So, what's the request about? A retrieval. Something's been smuggled into the city via the underground, we're supposed to go get it. The route there is pretty convoluted, and it looks like shit's been encrypted over and over a few times. Not gonna lie, this might be a little bit out of my depth. Lucky for you that I'm here. We both are perfectly suited for this matter, so let's cooperate and get to the bottom of this. After agreeing to work together, Van and Ren decoded the 4 SPG. They continued gathering clues afterward from the Orbinet in the underworld. Eventually, the trail led them to an Attache case. This must be what we're looking for. That was some tricky shit to figure out. They definitely didn't cut us any slack. I'll say, we had to follow the thinnest threads we could find just to get here. Had we not teamed up, this whole search would have probably been dead in the water. They must have trusted us to find it in the end, though. It was here, after all. Well, let's crack it open and see what's inside. Van unlocked the Attache case and threw it open to reveal... What? Writing utensils and painting supplies? What the hell is this stuff for? There's nothing weird about any of them, just normal-ass pencils, I don't get it. Oh, it looks like it's also got these, letters here. They're addressed to both of us. No sender listed, but I can only think of one. Right, Grandpa Jorg, beyond a doubt. Dear Ren, I realized I'm more than 6 months late before 6 months late. Before I say anything else, I want to congratulate you on your acceptance into Aramis. Time really does fly fast, doesn't it? It feels like only yesterday that you enrolled at Genus. You've always had that impeccable talent and appetite for learning, from your studies to your papers and everything in between, everywhere in between. You may have felt at first there was no point in returning to ordinary schooling, that it was a waste of time for a mind of your caliber. But there are some things you can only learn and experience in those common places. I suspect you've come to realize that yourself. Now that you have a place in the world to call your own, it's good to spread your wings and spend time away from your friends and family. Although I only looked after you a short period, I pray that you find happiness wherever your travels take you. Sincerely, Grandpa Jorg. Aww. P.S. Thank you for taking care of those kids and tidying up the workshop during your visit a year and a half ago. I greatly appreciate it. I didn't know what to get you to celebrate your admission, so I just picked up some safe bets for a student your age. If you have no use for them, feel free to throw them out. I'll hardly be hurt. Oh, don't be like that, Grandpa. I can never throw these things away. He still is as he ever was, awkward and clumsy outside of his doll making, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Alright, let's see what he's got to say to me next. To Mr. Van Arkride. It goes without saying you and I have done much for each other over the years. I won't dwell on that ancient history. But if I can offer one piece of advice to you, do not avert your eyes from the spirit you have within. Beyond that, please continue to guide and protect my granddaughter. I trust that you're looking out for her while she's in your periphery. Did he really have to write that last part? I'm not used to seeing him be so protective. Hard to blame the guy. He ain't seen you in years, cut him a little slack. At least it's not just you he's being nosy with anyway. What did he mean by your spirit within, though? That's an intriguing line. Beats me. No idea what he was talking about, but that's par for the course with him. I mean, you know how he is. Guy just sees everything differently. One hell of a grandpa you got there, you know that? People say his dolls are beyond lifelike. They even have their own hearts and souls. Maybe that power lets him look inside other people's hearts all the same. He could be onto something. It wouldn't hurt to keep what he wrote to you in mind, whatever it turns out to mean. Maybe, yeah. So, where is that old fart anyway? Any idea where he is or what he's up to these days? I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. He may very well have slipped back into the workshop in Crossbell by now. Or perhaps he's abandoned to set up shop somewhere else entirely. It's hard to tell with him. My master was like that too. Maybe being all cryptic and shit's just part of getting old. Maybe so. I'm happy to have heard from him at least. Thanks for bringing me along, Van. I'll have to return the favor one of these days. Take it down a lot. You play with fire, you might get burned. Oh, you think I'm still just some little girl, do you? I'll be all grown up before you know it. In many ways, I already am. At least enough for me to reach out and lend you a hand when you need it most. Just like you did for me all those years ago. Sheesh, the old man's right. This girl's growing up fast. Too fast, if you ask me. Sure, I'll ring you up if I really need a hand. Van saw Ren back to her dormitory and left the attaché case in her care. With that, the two went their separate ways. And just like that, it was back to usual business. That was sweet. Alright. Time for the next one. Yeah, I decided we're gonna do Nina and Fees, and then if we get an extra point, we'll do the Yume one. Van's group decided to take a short break. Everyone split up so that, yeah. This is the real me. The one you don't know, the one I don't want you to know. But no, this isn't right, I'm missing something. Hey there, thought about taking a break? Mr. Arkwright, what are you doing here? Your director sent me. There's an actress I've been working with whose work I'd like your opinion on, if that's okay. Ever since I offered her the part, she's been immersed in the role, almost to a scary degree. I was originally going to ask Judith for help here. But it might be a bad idea if I did it, since I'm not involved with the film's production at all. I know you're pretty tight-lipped, so I said why not. So, you gonna help? I guess they were both really worried about me. We recently filmed one of the most important scenes in my next film, you see. The director said my final cut was fine, so we were ready to move on. But I'm still not happy with it. I still feel like I could do better, so I asked him to let me shoot again after I rehearsed it some more. And that's why you're here all alone? It sounded like a long monologue, surprised it's given you so much trouble. I think it's because I've been rehearsing it alone. I'm meant to look at someone during the actual scene, and it's hard to do when I don't have anyone. I know, would you be willing to act as my partner while I practice? Me? Didn't see that one coming. But I know even if you said no, you ain't leaving till it's perfect. But are you sure you want to ask me? I ain't exactly an experienced actor. That's alright, just you being here will make a world of difference. Alright, I got the time to spare, so give it your best shot. Just don't go expecting nothing. A sack of flour couldn't do better. Thank you. With Van as her partner, Nina continued practicing the problematic scene over and over. But in the end, she still wasn't able to come up with a take she was happy with. How about that break? This is your job and all, but you're gonna burn yourself out if you keep at it non-stop. I'm so sorry, it feels like I've just been wasting your time here. I should have known I could never handle this like Judith does. What's she got to do with this? You guys are very different kinds of actresses, yeah? People always talk about how I embody the characters I act so naturally. It's like I'm possessed by them. You might be able to put a positive spin on it, but what those words mean at the end of the day is that my acting has no real soul of its own. That's a bit harsh, but it's the truth. Judith's acting is just so full of heart and soul. Every one of her roles has an identity that's uniquely hers. Not to say she's doing a good job portraying the role, of course. Not to say she's not doing a good job portraying the role, of course, I don't mean that. She maintains the role's integrity, but she always puts part of her in it. She takes to every role in a way that's uniquely hers. That's her greatest appeal as an actress, if you ask me. I see it, yeah. But I just can't do that. I don't have her strength of spirit, and I never will, because I'm empty. All I can do is act the role I'm given. That's all I can ever do. She's extremely transparent while acting, so much so that you might see right through her and her hollow acting. I remember reading that on a magazine after your debut film aired. You have a good memory. You know, it's just because someone said it doesn't mean it's true, right? If that's how people see you, then that's a talent you should take in stride. But you can call my acting skills whatever you want, but the truth is I'll never match up to Judith. And that might be your problem right there. If you really think there's nothing in there, then that's all the more space to start filling in. There's still plenty of time for you to create the identity you think you're lacking. You got a lot of material to take inspiration from. What do you mean? You're well known for not just taking a script and listening to it to a T, you always take it a step further. You wrap yourself in the role and let it become who you are. You think and act like the characters would. That's not something you would just up and forget. Or do their lives and experiences just vanish from your head after you stop playing the role? No, they don't. I remember everything. I remember the warmth of being in Ron's arms as Michelle in Wolves Requiem. I still remember how reassuring it was to have my friends and companions at my side in Gloria as Sheena Dirk. Yeah, I thought so. You remember all that so clearly. And that's not something just everyone can do, not even Judith. Those voices, those feelings, are just as much a part of you. You ain't empty. But don't let them overwhelm you either. You gotta listen to what you want too. And I might get shit for saying this, but to hell with the script. I think this should be more important to you. Because it's something that only you can do. I never even considered disregarding my lines. That might actually be a good idea. You mind if I try the scene one more time? I might finally have something. And let's start from the very beginning this time. Yeah, sure. Wait, already? And so they resume their acting. Nina performed the scene over and over, Van still acting as her partner. Every attempt refined the scene further, and Nina could feel the pleasant and satisfying exhaustion wash over her. Eventually...
これが本当の私。あなたが知らない私。あなたにだけは知られたくない私。だけど、私はもう逃げない。私が私であり続けるために。
Wow. Cut! Oh wow, Mr. Lamb? How long have y'all been there? Wait, were you filming this? Haha, don't worry, we were only filming Nina. That was spectacular, Nina. I know I approved our previous take, but this was significantly better. You went off script a little, but that doesn't matter when I could feel you and your character's soul so perfectly in your delivery. Thank you, director. Alright, everyone, let's keep this momentum and get back to shooting. Of course. Glad that's taken care of. Same. It's a relief. It feels like I finally saw a side of myself I'd never faced before. Thank you so much for your help. Well, we helped.
いい刺激になりました。次回作の演技、
Glass fountain
どうか
pen.
楽しみにしていてください。何をするの？
Alright, Fee. Let's see what you're up to. Oh, in the underground? Yo, sorry for the wait. Don't worry about it, I just got here myself. Thanks for coming. Think nothing of it. Seems this has to do with one of my part-timers, so I might as well. Want me to help out with a memento of flame eaters, right? Yep, I want to fix the custom rifle that Aida used to use. Seems like you've heard about it already. Sure have, we tried to get it repaired before, but they told us it wasn't really feasible. I assume the two of you found a way to fix it? Bingo, we learned what parts we need to repair it, so all that's left is to actually get them. It's been bothering me ever since I learned it was damaged, so I'm glad I can finally do something. I figure things will get real busy once the festival starts, so I want to get it taken care of before then. Fairy's working on the stuff that can be gathered above ground. You're gonna be getting the underground stuff from the Blacklight District, in other words. And you want me to show you around the place. Exactly. I've heard that nose of yours is really impressive, so impressive that even Zin relies on it. How about it? You up for being my guide? Sure, why not? Couldn't hurt putting you in my debt more. I'd be helping one of my part-timers move on too, so it sounds like a win-win to me. Thanks, let's get moving then. I don't know if this is, I mean, obviously we'll find out the next time Reen is in a game, but I wonder how Reen or even like Lloyd or Estelle would do with this underground stuff. You're looking to fix up a custom rifle, eh? Not to discourage you fine folks, but that sounds like quite the pain in the behind. We know, we're prepared to deal with it, as you can probably guess. We need some specialized parts to get it back in working condition. Mind showing us the rifle suppressors and foregrips you got in stock at the moment? Not at all, right this way, young lady. Hopefully I've got what you're looking for. Even though he's wearing, like, such a scary Halloween mask, he's so nice. He's definitely got a wide selection, but none of it looks quite right. What about this part over here? That looks pretty unwieldy. But nothing any decent Jaeger couldn't handle. Huh, yeah, maybe that might actually be the same model Aida used. Or the same make, at least. That might work in a pinch. Might as well give it a shot. Working on Flame Eater's rifle, huh? I've heard stories about that bad boy. You're in luck. I know for a fact the rifle I used back when I was in active duty is the same generation as her gun. You can go ahead and take it if you want. It should have a part or two you can use. Damn, that's really generous of you. For real, are you sure? I mean, it has to mean a lot to you. I'm no Jaeger anymore, so I don't mind parting with it. Helping the Colonel's daughter sounds better to me anyway. In return, just promise you'll come back and tell me how the Purple Lightning's doing. I've been rooting for her ever since she hung it up and walked her own path. Let me know how she's holding up, yeah? Deal. Can't say I know everything, but I'll be happy to share what I can. Okay, so one of Sarah's old friends from Jaeger years. Eventually, Fee and Van managed to scrape together the parts needed to repair the gun, albeit from a less than desirable mix of sources. With Fairy having acquired her allotted parts, the group reconvened at the arms dealer in the department store. Sylvie, who had previously consulted about the rifle's damage, agreed to assist with its repairs. Van watched over the whole process and helped with basic tasks like polishing as needed. Eventually... Look at that. Well, would you look at that? It's right back to the way it was. Ain't that something? It even has the same custom rifle muzzle she used back in her Zephyr days. It maximized its firepower and improved its accuracy. She really liked talking about that thing. I can see why. It's been customized in other ways too. The weight distribution probably makes it unwieldy to anyone who isn't a rifle pro. But Aida had no problem handling it. She and this rifle were a match made in heaven. No doubt about that. I'm glad we were able to get it fixed up for her. Flame Eater couldn't have asked for a better pair of sisters. So what are you planning to do with it now? That's a good question. How would you feel about using it, Fairy? I don't think a rifle of this size would suit me, to be honest. Aida once told me to remain true to my own style. I don't think I'd be honoring her if I changed mine to adapt to her weapon. Figured you'd say something like that. It doesn't fit mine either. I have a better idea. How about we deliver it to the current members of Zephyr? Oh yeah, I hear they reformed after the war. Yep, it's changed hands since then. Now it's being led by two of its former regiment commanders, Zeno and Leo. Okay, so they're the leaders now. I'm fine giving it over to them, but you sure that's what you want? Yes, I've thought long and hard about it. Are we sure this isn't just Fairy's Connect event? In her final moments, Aida said the names of her Zephyr comrades, including you. I can tell she treasured her family there. That's why I want to return it to them. Okay, that works for me. I'll go ahead and arrange for it to be delivered then. Oh, how are you going to do that? You do realize the civilian courier can't just waltz into Zephyr turf with a rifle in hand, right? Well aware, that's not what I had in mind. I know someone named Josette who owns a delivery company. Her people should be able to get it over to them without much trouble. Oh, Josette name drop. I've heard of them. They're based in Libero, yeah? You sure know a lot of people, don't you? I could say the same about you. Fee got in contact with the courier, who happily accepted the task and got straight to work. Afterwards, she reached out to Zephyr, who were in a remote region of the continent, and gave them a heads up. Won't be long before it's delivered, so can you stick around your base camp for a while longer? Sure thing, we had to kill some time before our next job anyway. Josette, technically. A Jaeger's weapon is their very soul. We'll take good care of it. Oh no, it's theirs. No, that's Zeno and Leo. Okay. The three of us fought side by side many times. So this has got to be Zeno, the guy with the drill arm. Three of us fought side by side many times as regiment commander. She is dearly missed. The Eisenschild told us about what happened to her. It's strange to think a part of her will be coming back to us. I'd like to think she's sharing a laugh and a drink with the boss on the other side right about now. Probably stressing about all her little sisters too, the worrywart. Heh, wouldn't shock me. It was good talking to you both again. See you around. Likewise, give our regards to Aida's other little sister. Sounds like she's gotten herself caught up in something fishy. Tell her to take care of herself. Aww. Well, that settles that. Must be one of the only bracers in the guild who keeps in touch with Jaegers. We don't talk that often, but they reach out to me every now and then. Now that we got that squared away, I think I'm going to drop by a cafe. Want to come with? I can share some stories about Aida and Zephyr if you're interested. Really? Oh, I'd love that. I can tell you about some of my people in our village. Cool, I'd like to hear all about them. Fee and Fairy went off to enjoy some tea and conversation. Once Fairy returned, the group got back to work.
いつかリーンたちにも会わせてみたいかな。
How sweet. Alright, well, we're done with those for now, so let's go ahead and check in on this request over here in Old Town. Oh, first things first, though. It's the only downside when we go on those trips, is this is the only way to refill your craft points, like, by choice. Oh, I wonder if... Oh, Burgard is in here. Dude has scars and muscles for days. Alright, now we can go check in. You're Zora, right? The one who put the call out for us? We're Arkwright Solutions. Nice to meet you. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for coming. Please have a seat. I'll get some tea ready in just a minute. I was curious what a Spriggan would be like, you know. But you look just like normal people. I might have even seen you around town before. You probably have. Our office is in Old Town. I know some stuff about you and your son. He's studying for high school entrance exams, right? Wow, you weren't kidding. You really do know about us. But you're right. We're hoping he'll be able to get into Aramis Academy, so I'm having him rigorously study every day. His grades were in a bit of a rut for a while, but they have thankfully started improving. Not that I ever doubt him, of course. He's my son, so of course he's capable. If he keeps this up, he will surely nail a spot in the academy at the tippy top of his class. Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm already starting to see the issue here. But right as he started to show some promise, the situation turns dire. Curtis has been behaving really strange as of late. He's become violent all of a sudden, yelling really loudly, hitting things. And he's never done that before? I can see why you would be concerned. Never in his life. He's always been a good boy. He must be in some awful company if he's acting this way. That's the most logical explanation. I take my eyes off him for a moment and this happens. That's why I need you. Please figure out what happened to my precious Curtis. So what if he's gotten a little sassy? I'd want to curse myself mute if I was getting choked like this 24/7. Really? I don't think it would hurt to look around and make sure he isn't falling in with a bad crowd just to be safe. What do you think, Van? Should we help her? Maybe. Give me a minute to think about it. Alright, we'll take the case. Fantastic, thank you so much. If you don't mind me asking, man, where is Curtis right now? He's out buying some reference material. There's a bookstore in Tyrell District where we like to shop at. I imagine he's there. Oh, so he's out right now. Perfect. Before we start with anything else, mind if we search his room? I ain't too hot to dig through a teen's room like that, but it's the most obvious place to start looking. I understand. You can search his room. Follow me upstairs. Bet you anything, he's got the good dirty mags hidden under his mattress. How did I know you were going to say that? Alright, let's head upstairs. Here you are. This is Curtis's room. Thanks for showing us. Alright, let's get this done before the kid's back home. Van and the rest started combing through Curtis's bedroom. At first, they found nothing of note that could plausibly explain his violent turn of behavior. The only objects kept hidden were mock exams with failing scores. But a few minutes later, well, look at that. Did you find something, Van? You bet. Take a look at this, what I found tucked away inside that desk drawer. A mint tin? It looks empty. I don't think I recognize the brand. Can you explain what it is? They sell tobacco-flavored mints inside these suckers. You only get them if you're smoking or trying to quit. That would explain why it doesn't smell like cigs in here. He could have been chewing on those instead of lighting one up. They taste like what? They might not be the real thing, but only delinquents ever think about smoking at his age. Oh, my poor Curtis, where did I go wrong with you? I thought I raised you to be such a good boy. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We might be missing something that explains why he had this tin. I know exactly why he had it. It's all my husband's fault. Him and that scandal of his that got him demoted from the Bank of Edith. Oh, well, that might be partially our fault. We were forced to move into Old Town because of that. If we were living in a safer neighborhood, my son wouldn't be straying from the path. My husband was supposed to start working in a subsidiary once he was out of probation. But where do I find him instead? Bon Mart. I caught him eating there again without a care in the world while I was out shopping. Absolutely ridiculous. Has he been working this whole time or just pulling the wool over my eyes? I can't trust him anymore, would you? Wow, she keeps going. Anyway, this tin gives us a good jumping off point. We'll keep sniffing around and see what we turn up. Pardon my outburst. I'll leave you to it. I'll be waiting for your report downstairs. So, marriage problems. What's the matter, Van? Did you notice something else? Yeah, the tin still stinks. It's faint, but you can still get a whiff if you get real close to it. It smells just like an Orbital hookah. Feels like a lifetime ago, but I'd recognize that smell anywhere. What, really? And here I thought we were finally done with that bullshit. I don't doubt Mr. Arkwright's right about this, but the CID and police were supposed to have confiscated all of them. You mean the drug that A developed and peddled through Vegas films? I don't remember hearing about that stuff coming in tablets. Where did he get something like that? I worry how his health might be affected. Alright, Chief, what's the plan? Do we go straight to the kid and get him to spill? No, we need to figure out where these things came from in the first place. Right now, the stays between us. Nothing good can come from his mom catching wind of this. With a firecracker of a mom like that, I can only imagine. Since we're talking about tobacco-flavored mints, maybe a cigarette seller would know something. If his father smokes too, it could also lead somewhere. Agreed. Might as well look into both of those. The mom said something about her husband eating at Montmartre. So I guess we're gonna check in with Paulette, maybe. Not sure why we check in there. Oh, hey, Eddie. How you doing? Is this the father? Got a minute? We want to ask something about your son. Van explained the request from Roman's wife and summarized the team's findings so far. What? My son is chewing on tobacco-flavored mints? I can't believe it. He's never been the brightest at school, but I didn't think he'd be that stupid. Sir, please calm down. As an aside, do you smoke it all yourself? Goddess, no. Why would I? The smell would only make our clients uncomfortable. Then do you have any idea what Curtis would be taking these tablets? Any idea at all? Oh, I know what's going on with him. Boy must be getting lazy, tired of studying for entrance exams, so he must be taking them as a distraction. What an embarrassment. He's gotten real spoiled if he thinks he can get away with all this nonsense. When I was his age, I was so focused on my studies, I didn't even eat or sleep. Just what in good head is Zora doing raising her son for him to turn out like that? It sounds like the parents themselves have some issues to work through. With parents like these, kid was gonna start acting out sooner or later. Thanks for the info. We'll get out of your hair now. Well, that's not good. Alright, I guess we're checking in with the church. Oh, hey. Tobacco lady. Sorry to interrupt your class. Can we have a quick chat? Wanted to ask about a kid we've been hired to look into. Name's Curtis. Of all the times, I guess we can if we really can't wait. Let's go somewhere else. Van explained the request. Right, okay. Not gonna lie, I think his parents are making a storm in a teacup. Kid's not gonna turn into some hardened criminal because of this. But to answer your question, I do know who you're talking about. He came to my tobacco kiosk about an hour ago. He did? Yeah, he asked if I had any tobacco-flavored mints for sale. I told him I don't sell them, and that even if I did, a kid like him shouldn't go anywhere near them. He got all huffy and started yelling, called me an old hag, which was nice of him. Wow, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. Damn, kid's got balls to say that to your face. What do you do after that? Beats me. My guess is he went looking for some other place he could sucker into selling him those mints. Makes sense. Thanks for the info. Well, that's both people on our list, and none of it helped. Dad didn't really tell us anything new about the kid, and we got no info to go on about those mints. Guess the last stop is the bookstore, as Mom mentioned. He might not even be there, but it can't hurt to talk to him if he is. If he's not, we can always ask the staff. They might know something. Alright, well, I guess we're headed to Tyrell District then. The bookstore is where Albert works, if I remember correctly. So maybe we can talk to him. Is he here today? Oh, Albert's not even here today. Never mind that. I don't see anyone who looks like they could be Curtis. I'll hit up the manager and see what she has to say. Excuse me, does the name Curtis ring a bell by any chance? Van explained the request. Okay, yeah. They also explained his stark change of personality. Oh wow, poor Curtis. I had no idea he was going through all of that. He comes here a lot, so one of my workers and I made a point of looking after him and helping him with his studies. Unfortunately, I couldn't tell you anything about his personal life, or those mints you mentioned. That's all news to me. That's okay, we appreciate you talking to us at all. If you don't mind me asking, can you tell us about the other worker? Oh, I recognize you. You come here a lot too. You're from Eris, aren't you? His name is Albert. You probably know him, right? Yes, absolutely. I can't believe I forgot that this is where he works. Sure does. He and Curtis seem to be getting along really well. He would recommend reference books for Curtis to buy and whatnot. Between the two of us, I imagine Albert would know more about him than I do. Fat load of good, that'll do, unless we can track the nerd down. Any ideas where he might be? At this hour, he's probably either on campus or somewhere around the Auburn district. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go find him. That's exactly what we're gonna do. Fingers crossed he doesn't turn out to be a dead end. Alright, off to the Albert district.
目的地に向かいます。
Guess that makes sense. It's around school. Speaking of which.
聞かせてもらうぜ。
I'm sorry to call you all of a sudden, Albert. It's alright. It looks like it's something you need to be discreet about. Something like that. We're looking into someone right now. Do you know Curtis? Van's team told Albert what they'd heard from Curtis's mom. They also mentioned how he changed recently. Damn it, I knew something was up. He'd been acting strange lately. Maybe unstable is the best word for it. It was really different from his usual self. How long have you known? Ugh. You know, I don't really want to help you. But I guess I noticed it around late October, early November. So about a month ago. He was pretty down in the dumps before that, saying he'd lost motivation. But then he started being all excited about his studies all of a sudden. Something was off about it, though. I don't know where the enthusiasm came from. Thank you for letting us know. Have you heard anything in particular about his friends? As if he was hanging about with a bad crowd? No, not really. Didn't look like it anyway. Wait, maybe. It's not quite that. But I remember someone that looked like him trying to hang around the back streets in the Tyrell district. Since it was at night, the guy he was talking to looked really shady. I just kind of assumed it couldn't be Curtis. Damn it, maybe that's the guy that... Come on, stop mumbling with it already. We've been warned at school to watch out for a suspicious man that hangs around Tyrell's back streets. He apparently sells tobacco and hard drugs to young people. That's what the rumor says anyway. I should have made the connection earlier. Curtis could have bought the tablets from him. That makes a lot of sense. Maybe he was going to meet him today when he said he was going to the bookstore. Looks like it anyway. Next up, Tyrell's back streets. Well, I'm glad I could be of help. Please do something for Curtis. We will. Thank you for your help, Albert. Didn't actually, I kind of fumbled my controller there.
立ち入り禁止か。まあ当然だわな。
今日は休日なので学生も少ないですね。
Alright, back to Tyrell. We're really getting around today. The back street. So who is our culprit gonna be? This guy? There he is. He's got to be the seller. He just looks like it. Only one way to find out. I'll pose as a customer and try talking to him. You guys hang out here. If we approach him as a group, he'll probably get spooked. Makes sense to me. Good luck, Van. Wait, hold on a minute, Chief. We're talking about a guy who deals to kids. He's not going to want to sell to an old fart like you. You'll never miss an opportunity to remind me I'm older than you, do you? But you might have a point. If his client base is students like Curtis, then I sure as hell am out. Oh, Van, don't let Aaron get to you. You're still perfectly young. Yeah, don't worry about it. You should be more confident. Nah, I agree. I'm not the best man for the job. It ought to be someone who looks like rebellious enough to take drugs. Or at least our guy won't bite. You're up, kid. Show this old man what a young punk like you can deliver. Hell yeah, I'll deliver all right. Just you watch and learn. Yo, dude, heard you could hook me up with some good shit. That true? Who the hell are you? A good friend of mine told me all about you. Said you got some kick-ass mint so you can get you high. Emphasis on the kick. No offense, but I don't know why I said no offense, but honestly, Aaron's the perfect choice for this because he does have that shady look to him. Mind hooking me up with some? I'll pay you whatever you want if it's that good. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, man. That lanky-ass school kid fill you in? I'll let you in on a secret. That stuff originally came straight from some pharmaceutical company. I hadn't heard of them before, but I guess they got busted by the cops or something like that. They were out on the market for only a hot minute before they were taken off. I just sold the last of my stock to that kid a little while ago. You kidding me? All that talk and you got nothing to deliver? Way to let a guy down. Hey, trust me, I'd love to have more so I can make even more money. It is what it is. Seems like that kid's developed a real dependence on him, though. I tried telling him what I just told you, but he got all pissy with me, told me to give him more before chucking what he had like a little baby. Ugh, stuff like that's why I freaking hate dealing with addicts like him. They've always got to make everything hard. Bingo. So the kid really did just come through here. Sounds pretty shitty, yeah. What did he do after he threw that temper tantrum? I suggested some other stuff to try, but he wouldn't listen to me. All he wants are those mints, it seems. So I told him to try the Blacklight District just to finally get the kid out of my face. Even told him I'd get down there for good measure. Hopefully he'll leave me alone now. Blacklight District, huh? That's a good idea. I could definitely see someone down there hawking that stuff in some dark and dingy corner. Is that all you're after, though? Just those mints? I got plenty of other perfectly good stuff, you know. I'll even give you a free hit. You should try it. Nah, I'm good, man. I'm only interested in those mints, too. Great. Thanks for nothing. What a waste of time this was. I think I'm gonna try selling somewhere else today. Seems deader than a stuffed palm. Nice work. Sounds like you got a lot out of that dirtbag. I'm just glad we have an idea where Curtis might be now. I bet we can guess where those mints came from, too. Yeah, it was probably a dummy corporation set up by A. Now all we need is to find the kid and hear his side of the story. Seeing as he's on his way to the Blacklight District, let's focus on dragging him out first. We can question him after that. Shall we be on our way then? Let's track him and get him out of there. Well, you heard him. Blacklight District, here we come. Where's this kid at? Is that him on the left? Finally, I finally found you. Hey, you're Maja, right? The herb seller? Tell me you got the mints I'm looking for. Say, I don't think I recognize you. You look like you came from the surface, the way you're dressed. Hate to break it to you, but I don't stock that garbage. Honestly, you should really quit taking those things if you know it's good for you. Wow, she's actually really nice. Liar, you have those mints. I know it. If I don't get more of those mints, I'm... Bingo. Knew this is where we find our Poindexter. Huh? What do you want? I could swear I recognized you from somewhere. You're Curtis, right? Clearly something's going on with this kid here. Mind filling me in? Sure. His mom sent out a request for us. What? I didn't hear anything about that. All I knew is that they were hard to come by. I thought they were ordinary mints that just happened to taste like tobacco. Oh, there's more to them than that, much more. I heard they were manufactured by A, and that they were leaked onto the streets before the cops did their post-Starbag roundup. The CID stamped out their pipelines, so they're not being made anymore. It's only a matter of time before they're off the streets completely. Well, that's a relief. I get you kids like to rebel against your parents, but hard drugs aren't exactly the gotcha you think they are. It's not about that. I'm not trying to rebel. I need those mints. Why can't you simpletons understand? It's not worth damaging your body. You really need to stop. You're already showing side effects, bud. That outburst there? Probably the mints making you irritable and prone to withdrawal. Like it or not, those things are having an impact on you, and they're only going to get worse the longer you're on them. I know that, for crying out loud. I know they're dangerous, but I have to take them. If I don't have them, I can't study hard enough. If I can't study hard enough, I'll fail my entrance exam, and then I'll just be another stupid kid like all the rest. I don't even want to imagine how my parents would react if that happens. They'll yell and scream, maybe kick me out of the house. Haha, my life's over, isn't it? This poor kid, I feel awful for him. This mint addiction seems to be a symptom of the real problem. We need to address the root cause to solve this case. Fret not, fear not, young man. So long as we're on the case, we won't let your parents unjustly punish you. That I promise. Okay, I didn't sign up to be this family's counselor, but it's pretty clear to me that the parents share some of the blame here. We're gonna need to give them a talking to. I know you're not gonna like this, but I need you to be part of the discussion with us, okay? If you don't mind me asking, do you know who sold the mints to him in the first place? We do, actually. Blonde guy with a goatee. Seems like he had a habit of slinging his stuff around town. Oh, him. Should have figured. Don't you guys worry. He hasn't been on the streets for long. I'll be sure to remind him of the rules we have here. Though frankly, if he's going around selling drugs to children, he won't be on the streets for long. Thanks, we'd really appreciate it. Saves us the balash of having to go after to find him again. I probably ought to report back to Renee before doing anything else, though. Now that we're done here, let's swing back around to Bermati's place and fill him in on the details. Good idea. Maybe he can take a look at Curtis and diagnose his condition, too. Paying Bermati a visit, filling him in on their minty mystery. Having previously analyzed the ingredients found in the orbital hookahs, Bermati was able to prescribe a sorely needed medicine for the boy. And once Curtis' symptoms subsided, Van contacted his parents. They agreed to reconvene at the family's home so the group could report their findings. Okay, now that everyone's here, we can get started. Well, what did you find? Was I right? Has Curtis made some bad friends? But I'm sure it was just typical rebellious teen phase. Let's go over what we found, and then we can take things from there. Van began discussing how Curtis bought the tobacco-flavored mints from a dealer on a whim. Curtis had soon developed a dependency on them since his academics had improved when he used them. Van also brought up how the mints were laced with drugs. Though the side effects were light, Curtis soon started taking prescription medicine, thinking it would cure him. This is all so much to take in. I feel so dizzy simply thinking about it. To think my own son would be taking prescription drugs. He's even worse than I could have imagined. I'm very disappointed in you. Is this the thanks I get after supporting you in those studies unconditionally? What do you have to say for yourself, young man? Keep it down, will you? Do you want the neighbors to hear you? As for you, did you forget your father just started working again? I don't have time for this nonsense, and here you are, causing me nothing but problems, as if I don't have enough on my plate already. These parents are horrible. I practically had to beg to get some time off work to come have this conversation with you. Are you even aware of what I'm going through? It's all me with them. I'm sorry. I'm honestly surprised at the total lack of shame here. So am I. Are you actually sorry for what you put us through, young man? I trust the police aren't going to have to get involved at this point. Last thing I need is for my son to get arrested. Now that will really get me fired. No, you two got it all wrong. He's not the one that should be ashamed. It's you two. You should be mortified. Though I guess that's up to you. Can't force either of you to feel guilty. Guilty? What should I even have to feel guilty for? Don't try and change the subject. Curtis is the one that's acting like a delinquent. This isn't about us. On the contrary, this is all about you folks. Or did you forget already? You asked us to figure out why your kid changed. We're serving you the answer on a silver platter. Curtis was hitting a dead end with his studies and felt like he was being driven into a corner. That may be true, but I fail to see what that has to do with either of us. Since you're not getting it, I'll spell it out for you. Your son didn't fall in with a bad crowd or change because of some damn mints. It's all his parents' fault, a neglectful pair that failed to notice what he was going through. Or maybe you just didn't want to. I knew I wouldn't like where this conversation was headed. Where did I fail as a father, huh? Have you two ever stopped to think about how Curtis feels? I don't know everything about your family, but it looks like you two only worry about what you want for him and not what he wants. And who are you thinking you can tell us how to run our family? You don't have the slightest idea of how hard I've worked. Once again, me. And so Curtis could get into a prestigious high school. His future would be set. Exactly. Do you know how much money I've, once again, spent on his textbook and mock tests? I've done all that despite my work situation? This conversation's getting nowhere and fast. Should have known they wouldn't listen. It'd feel wrong bailing out and leaving the kids out to dry, though. Not really my style, but I guess it's time for a little marriage counseling. Let's do the family bonds. Maybe talking about their family bonds will get these two to snap out of it. Has it ever crossed your mind why your son was so desperate with his studies? Who knows, maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but shit looks like he was just trying to live up to those lofty expectations of yours. That's not why. I just thought a good student should go to a prestigious school. And then you hit a brick wall. So that's when you started turning to those mints to get into Aramis. At the end of the day, is that what you wanted? I mean, sounds to me like what you really wanted was not to let your folks down. You put in all the effort so they would finally acknowledge you. I don't know what to say. And while your son's busting his back to succeed, what support did he have? He had a mother that her twisted love and affection for her child into a leash, and a father acting only for his own self-righteousness, without ever stopping to look back at his family. Honestly, none of you ever did. You two don't know the first thing about taking care of a kid if you think this sad excuse for parenting is the best way to raise him. Attaboy, Van! I'm so sorry. Wow, that was a quick turnaround. I wanted to support you, but it turns out all I was doing was burdening you even more. I might have let it get to my head, but having so much power over managing your life. I failed you as a mother, and I should have believed in you, and I didn't. I'm also sorry, son. I thought it was my job as the man of the house to provide for my family, and that it was your mother's job to raise you instead. When I was demoted at work, I thought I'd failed you all. but that's not when it all started. It began with me neglecting you, and what should have been my role within this family. Dad, Mom, I think it's time for the three of us to sit down and talk as a family. Talk and figure out where we went wrong and how to fix things. You're right. It's time we stopped running from reality and started trying to work together. Yeah, I guess so. We really do need to talk. Phew, glad things have finally calmed down. I sincerely hope the conversation they'll have will be one they'll have once we leave will be a fruitful one. That was some fine work diffusing the situation. No one does it quite like you, Van. Nah, it wasn't anything special. Just did what I felt like needed to turn things around. Which is pretty impressive considering Van is an orphan. So this is all just from self-experience. He didn't have parents to have like a model. I don't got anything else to add here. The rest is up to you. And don't worry about the whole drug deal. We'll take care of it discreetly so it doesn't become public. We'll get out of your hair now. Good luck, y'all. Really? Still not 4? Alright. Alright, well, we're going to end things off there. So next time, we're just going to go ahead to the other districts and see what requests are on the board. And then I guess we will take things from there. So that's going to be it, guys. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe more if you're new to the channel. I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.